Andrew Cuomo is, of course, the governor of New York, and he's being challenged from the left by Cynthia Nixon. And his reaction to that has been to try and act like he's the most progressive guy in the race. And that's hilarious. Now, on the one hand, he did some good stuff, like former felons, he gave the right to vote. Again, this is all because Cynthia Nixon's in the race, so he's like, no, I'm the most progressive. I'm like Bernie, believe me. Even though, for example, he cut a backroom deal to leave the control of the state Senate in the hands of Republicans. He also had set up an anti-corruption commission, and then when that commission started investigating him and his cronies, he disbanded the commission. So, this is the kind of guy that he is, okay? He's a deeply political actor. He's a corporate Democrat. Every now and then he throws a bone to progressives and does the right thing. But he does that because he's forced to do that because it's New York. So in New York, you can't, you have to be left to govern in New York. And so he's like, $15 minimum wage. But what he doesn't tell you is, again, he stacks the deck against left-wing causes and then pushes for the left-wing causes. That's so cynical and so corrupt, and that's politics 101, dirty politics 101. That's old-school politics 101. He's the reason we don't have the single-payer plan yet in New York, because he gave control of the state Senate to Republicans. So just keep all that in mind. But he made the mistake of now trying to outflank Cynthia Nixon on her left, but in the process of doing that, he took the dumbest road imaginable, the biggest mistake you could make. This is what Hillary Clinton did as well, by embracing identity politics. Watch.
As a New Yorker, I am a Muslim. As a New Yorker, I am Jewish. As a New Yorker, I am black. I am gay. I am disabled. I am a woman seeking to control her health and her choices, because as a New Yorker, we are one community.
Okay, he got roasted on Twitter for that. And by the way, he thought that was so good, he tweeted it with the quote above it. Come on, man, what are you doing? You can't do that. That's so stupid. I'm black, I'm gay, I'm disabled. And then, listen, one of the things about this is the identity politics people end up eating themselves alive anyway. Because one of the rebuttals that somebody can have and be earnest in saying it is, oh, you're all those things. Why are you doing cultural appropriation? See, it used to be the case that, oh, do you want to show that you care about other cultures? Well, partake in those cultures. Glorify those cultures. Immerse yourself in those cultures. That's a way to show respect for a culture. But then at some point, it became the opposite. And it's like, oh no, if you're like a white dude and you want to wear dreadlocks or some shit, well, that's cultural appropriation, and in fact, that's racist. So when it used to be like, oh, that's you trying to immerse yourself in a different culture because you appreciate it, it became, no, that's appropriation, and that's racist and wrong. So that's the thing, the identity politics people end up eating themselves alive anyway, because there's no coherent, consistent position that's viewed as the non-racist position versus the racist position, and it just becomes a clusterfuck of people regurgitating opinions about how everybody else is not fair to their culture or is on some level racist and doesn't even know it. So when he says something like this, the response from some people could be, why are you culturally appropriating and acting like that makes you more left-wing? That makes you less left-wing. That makes you, you are trying to profit off of the cultures of minorities in the U.S. That's disgusting. So that's one response people can have and be earnest about that. So many jokes. He got so destroyed on Twitter. I mean, some people were like, I'm black, I'm gay, I'm disabled, I'm a woman trying to control her body. Somebody was like, I'm a bitch, I'm a lover. They went through the lyrics of that song. Other people gave him an award, like the biggest bullshitter award. Another one sent a gif of it said schizophrenia on it with a kid rocking back and forth. Because get it, when you're schizophrenic, you see things that aren't there and you think you're something you're not or whatever. Another one, endless tweets calling him a virtue signaler. And listen, at the end of the day, my issue with shit like this is, on top of just being goofy, it's just goofy what you're doing, it's just pandering on another level, and it's so condescending. That's my whole thing on it, is this is a way to pander to try to get votes of the minority communities without actually doing anything for the minority communities or doing anything for people in your state in general. So identity politics is fundamentally a diversion. Like with Hillary Clinton, I'm a woman. I'm with her. I'm going to accept my victory in the Jacob Javits Center because there's a glass ceiling. Yes. So what that is a way of being leftier than thou without actually being leftier than thou. It's a way of saying, I'm for women, I'm for blacks, I'm for trans people, I'm for disabled people, I'm for minorities. And it gets all the benefits of the social brownie points of feeling leftier than thou, but none of the downsides of having to actually buck your corporate donors and be for policies that really help everybody. So that's my issue with it. It's hard to actually be for single payer and free college and a living wage and ending the wars and a New Deal and ending the drug war, because there's a lot of entrenched financial interests arguing against you on that front. So how do you try to get what you view as your left-wing base for you without actually doing the right thing? I'm more for blacks and women and disabled people than you are. Checkmate. But the thing is, people see through it now, man. People see through it. They understand what's going on, you know. And listen, that's not me arguing that there's zero merit to identity politics, because sometimes there are issues that are like race-based, for example, where the solution has to be viewed through the lens of race, because the problem is viewed through the lens of race, because that's just what it is in empirical reality. Like, for example, the drug war being disproportionately used against minority communities. That's just a fact, okay? Black people, white people use drugs at a similar rate. Black people arrested for 4 times more often. White people more likely to sell drugs than black people. Black people more likely to get arrested for selling drugs. The list goes on and on. There was a resume study, and black-sounding names got a callback significantly less than white-sounding names with the exact same resume. It's hard to not view that through the lens of race when it literally is in the realm of race that the problem is happening. So, but to me, the answer has always been universal solutions to those problems. You know, so when it comes to the drug war being bigoted and that it mostly targets minority communities, it also targets poor white people, but mostly targets minority communities. Well, the solution that helps everybody is universal solution anyway. So if you want to address that problem and that concern, which mostly rests with minority communities, say, I'm going to end the drug war, and I'm going to free all the nonviolent drug offenders. So you can address the needs and concerns of minority communities without pandering, without fucking pandering. And that's what Cuomo's doing here. It's one of the saddest things I've ever seen. I live in New York. New York is one of the top secular talk viewing states in the country. So get your ass out there and vote for Cynthia Nixon and get Cuomo out of office.